So I've recently discovered, no, not, I did not discover, but I'm going to be applying the so-called dual tile system, dual grid system. Actually, it's called the offset grid. And I'm basically going to be applying whatever ChatGPT has told me. Now I got to get the neighbors. I want to get the basic idea. Actually, um, something is wrong here. I'm just gonna edit the A sprite. Oh, never mind. It's this one. So I did not add any of the nearby stuff yet. So it's not yet here. I'm just gonna be making that first. And I'm not really sure how it's supposed to happen. Um, okay, it's basically offset, offset, offset. So instead of looking for the middle, you're looking for the edges, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Uh, alright. Okay, I'm just gonna rewatch this video.
The process of creating tiles for games can get quite tedious, especially if you're working solo. Add a few different types like grass, configurations of neighbors instead of 256. In terms of the actual tile set to use with this 56, there is only 16 possible configurations of neighbors instead of 256. In terms of the actual tile set to use with this method, this time we actually want the edges to be.
But I'm really confused though. If this is the case, um,
Developed by Thin Matrix, both of which I will link in the description.
programming, she's really. Oh, I want to say she's beautiful. Sorry. Okay. Okay.
So up until now, my terrain generation system has been extremely simple. Imagine this is the world grid here, then if this is a grass tile, then I would simply render a grass mesh tile here. And if this is a soil tile, then I render a soil mesh in that position, path tile, render a path mesh, and so on. Super easy because each mesh stays within its own tile, but it does result in these hard corners. So let's now have a look at the same example with rounded corners, and I want both the outer corners and the inner corners to be equally rounded, like this. So if we have a look at this soil tile here, it's mostly soil mesh, but you can see that now a little bit of grass mesh has sneaked in there as well. And this grass tile here, it's lost a couple of corners, and some soil has leaked in from the neighbouring tiles. So it's unfortunately no longer as simple as this is a grass tile, render a tile of grass mesh here, because now I have to determine the shape of the grass mesh, and that's going to depend on all of its neighbouring tiles. And this example here is just with 2 terrain types. I still want to have support for unlimited terrain types, which obviously complicates things even more. But that's what I'm trying to solve this week. So I've been in the code getting the absolute basics of this new terrain system set up.
Okay, low level game, not a
And
global level one. But he's also like he's using a low. He's not using a game engine. Pretty
I've
cool.
got to the point where it's rendering in the game, so you can see it here. I haven't done any of the code for generating the tiles yet, so currently it's just generating flat red quads for the tiles, which is why it looks like this. Also, you'll notice that around the edge it's kind of flashing. That's because this terrain has to be half a tile bigger than the previous terrain, so it's currently overlapping with the neighbouring terrains, which is why it's flashing a bit. And I'll talk a bit more about why it has to be bigger in a bit, but now the job of explaining it than I can. But very briefly, if this is the world grid and this is your terrain mesh, you probably want to split the mesh up into tiles. The obvious way to do this would be to split it into tiles that are aligned with the world grid, like this. But in the dual grid system, we instead split the mesh up like this, so the tiles are offset by half a square from the world grid. The result is still the same, the mesh still ends up looking the same, we're just cutting it up into tiles differently. And just to clarify, this second grid is only for the mesh tiles of the terrain, only for rendering the terrain mesh. The entire rest of the game still only uses and only knows about the world grid, like always. So what's the point in doing this? Well, it actually simplifies the terrain generation process quite significantly. With Oscar's system, you can construct any terrain with only these 6 tile shapes, whereas for the normal system, you'd need way more if you wanted to get these equally rounded inner and outer. Normal system, you'd need. Also, when a grid to get these.
I really understand it. I just find it like really overwhelming. Like, all right. Um, so it's like this, right? What the hell is going on? What? Blur? I'm adding blur. Okay, I wanna add razor. Does this work? Okay, for example, I got this edge case, and then the other edge. Wait a second. This isn't supposed to be the case. Maybe I can just add it here, and the next one should be something else. Maybe actually this looks really ugly. There, looks a lot better. Hmm. Oh, what the hell is this? Something like that. 3 spaces. Is it like 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then slot it like that. So it's actually 4 of them. Yeah, works. Okay. So since I've got this one, I need the other side because this one's basically. I just gotta add. Uh, Ah, wait, puts it at the very end? No, no, it's not the case. So this, something more. Oh, one my mouse. No, I think this is about it. Not really sure, like, how am I supposed to add, like, edges when it comes to her tiles, it's looking okay, I guess. But the cases that you need,
Equally rounded inner and outer curve. Construct any terrain.
like you have this one as well, and this one. So these are the stuff that you need, I'm guessing. So, say for example, you have this. So instead of having it here, there's like an open space towards her. Yeah. So something like that, right? These are the only shapes that I need. Yes. And it's gonna be quite similar here. Basically just half. And I can pretty much guess what that is. There. What? I honestly don't know. Oh my gosh. This is the worst part. Game development, I guess. Designing. Um, and something like this one right here. Okay. I've got all sorts of cases. Of course, this one can still be flipped, but I want to see if it works first, because of course I can flip and flip in this one. I'm way too lazy. Never mind. Okay, forget it, man. Forget it. Um, is there like a flip one? There. Okay, just me being lazy. Okay. Mm, the problem here is that there's gonna be like a difference when it comes to pattern. So I guess this is it. This is it. This is it. I could just export spreadsheet. I don't really understand how this works. Um, rows or maybe tree. A sprite. Export spreadsheet. Hmm. Padding is available during apps. Um, by rows. Holy what? It's really confusing. It's 16 by 16. Why does it go to 20? It just goes to 20 automatically. What? Okay, how many rows can there be? So I'd have to divide it by something like 5. Holy smokes, this is really frustrating. What? Export sprite sheet from A-Sprite to Unity. And I can ask ChatGPT.
Wow. Let me see this.
Hello everyone, how's it going? You can actually have the name of that export, and what we're also going to do is to open up the generator.
Okay, never mind, ChatGPT. A-Sprite export spreadsheet does not allow changes in rows. For some reason, forces me from 1 to or 20 rows. 20 is the number of frames I have. Function automatically determines number of rows based on forcing it to 1 to 20 might be the sheet type settings. Instead of automatic path rows. Manually set rows now. If by rows set entry, see the option, try switching. Maybe because my A sprite is crapped, like it forces a value that's always going to be like this. Vertical strip, horizontal strip. Um, by rows. Maybe I could just set off a different value, like 256 and 256 as well. So now this works. Okay, that's a lot. This is just looking ugly. Express ratio. It's gonna be 64. Okay. Okay, now this one looks better, I guess. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh no, I'm gonna save this one. Oh no, it's this. That's it. Yes, override it. Alright, now it's different. And the generation should also be quite different as well. So when I go to chunk, I'm setting up different values here. So basically this is ground, 1, it's 4 by 4. 1, 3, 6, 3, okay, so 4, 8, 12, this is 12, so it's 11, 12, this is 12, 16, this is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, size 15. So the ground is I gotta add comments here. Um, this is grass, this is water, which is water must be 18. Sand is actually 19. First value is 15, 16, and then 17. And there's something wrong since basically the tile set is a lot larger now. It's gonna be 4 by 5. Yes, basically 4. Ah, the other way around. It's gonna Oh wait, although it looks kind of okay, the sand has that stupid pattern. Okay, it looks okay, it looks fine. But I guess I was wrong. No, I am wrong. I did not follow the so-called some kind of pattern because this is not how it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like something else completely. And okay, it's gonna be a lot smaller than this. Basically 1/4 of the screen. That's what it's supposed to be. There. Okay, let's explain wrong. Taken half of screen and there's bump it up like this. There you go. Same thing here. Taken half. Taken half as well. Do this. And open half of it. About there. About there. Oh wait, what? Hmm. Okay. It took way too much from me. And then the other one. Same thing. There you go. This is what it's supposed to look like. My guess. That is. And this is the other one. Other one. Other one. Wait, isn't this like too much space here? Oh no no. That's right. Exports. There's not going to be a difference here. This time now I'm going to implement stuff. Uh, I asked for pseudocode in the neighboring terms. Numbers are x plus for an offset grid, adjust neighbors based on low parity. Hmm. So to get the possible neighbors, it's like determining what's the neighbor of the next one. The question is, It's upstairs. Wait, I kinda don't get it. So, say for example, I have each tile here. And now I'm only going to be focusing for the grass tiles now, I guess. I mean, and then I'm going to be checking if it's grass, then I'm going to be offset its drawing instead of basically a neighbor for this time, I guess. Instead of image. It's basically adding a neighbor and then the position of the neighbor, the x and y. The neighbor. Rows. I mean, if x is greater than 0, use x minus 1. For normal square, neighbors are x and offset, adjust neighbors based on row parity. I see. Ah, I see. So if this is the case, and I get that my neighbors are also 19. Instead of index, I should probably put like a value for them, just for readability, I guess. But I'll try and do that next time. This one has very bad readability, so I might try and fix this up. Get things. So the basic idea is you offset the chunks. Find the possible neighbors. If left, if top left is grass, then you use, um, if the top left is grass, so say for example, you're using grass, right? I guess the default one is always going to be, so you got the one at the middle, and you know that that is grass, am I right?
With only these 6 tile shapes, whereas to update the 4 neighboring mesh tiles, whereas usually up to 9 local mesh tiles could be affected. And it's the same the other way around as well. So when you're generating a mesh tile, with whereas usually you'd have to take into account 9 local squares when determining the shape of the mesh tile. So it's a really neat solution, and I'm working on implementing it right now. Basic tiles need to making them in Blender or something like that, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, once I start introducing pathways and diagram and
but I do tend to prefer the look of perfectly rounded tiles, especially for. The second grid is offset from the world grid by half a tile, and each tile changes based on its 4 overlapping neighbors. This tile tile changes based on its 4 overlapping neighbors.
Okay.
Each tile changes based on its 4 overlapping neighbors.
So if this one's dead, it's just grass, grass, grass. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm just gonna check for each case. Find the possible neighbors. Check each case, then select. Right. So this is the first idea that I have in mind. Well, certainly I'm gonna um, basically discard all of this. Wait. Uh, discard all of these and just use something else. If noise value less than 0, and tiles x1. So it should be grass for now. Everything is grass. So basically, I'm gonna be offsetting them. I don't think this is gonna work out, but okay, never mind. This is probably gonna work out. Do I make like a public? Mm, ChatGPT suggests a getNeighbor function. Basically, it returns the neighbors. What is it? So it's basically an array. Maybe I should like have a function or a method that returns the neighbors and it returns a dictionary. Um, so that when it draws it, it draws 4 tiles, right? So with this idea, does that mean that I would, okay, so with the dual grid system, that means I would have to put over layers because, wait, I'm just confirming stuff. So these are the tiles to draw, basically. And the X and Y for this one, I guess. Hmm. So what this means is that instead of having it this way, I have everything drawn to water, and then something else is drawn on top of it, right? So it's drawn by layers. But that's something that I'm going to be doing next time. For now, I gotta focus on this. I don't understand tiles. It's an X and Y. Wait, X and Y. Let's see if I understand. This is basically an X and Y value. Teresa by Teresa. And in certain parts of the array. Oh yeah, I guess. Fine, I get it. Get it. Um. So maybe instead of having it this way, I can try and manipulate it first. So x minus 1 and y minus 1. And try equal to 0. And x plus 1, y plus 1. Okay, minus copy and paste this one. And basically, although it kind of makes it thicker, it's not really my intention to do that. It's just a little thicker, I guess, but no. And now instead of having it this way, it's gonna run it, see if there's task. What? Hmm. Index out of bounds. I see. Yeah, of course. It's out of bounds still. Yep. Sorry. How long? How very long? Oh, what? Mm-hmm. 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 It's telling me that this line of code is what's wrong. This one. You are wrong. Well then, technically, I guess if I do not call this, well, none of them is going to be drawn. It's going to be empty spaces. Well, it still takes an error. Ah, what the hell? What the hell is this? Okay, just bring it back. There. I mean, this is a bunch of stuff that is offset. I guess that works. Gonna want to use me of him. Oh, I wonder. I wonder. Okay, the player is moving fast, and at the world, I might as well try and do something. Wait, is it the scale? So how can I actually know if it's offset? Maybe it's not working. Maybe that's not the case. So there's no way to know it yet. And to do that, I'm gonna need to do this. So taking these values, it's gonna be, wait, what is this? All right. Oh, oh, it's not straight. Stupid. Okay. So 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Basically left, downwards. How am I supposed to do this? Wait a second. Never mind. This looks really stupid. Guess it's not supposed to be like this because they're getting replaced by the other side. The left, top left. Oh, what? Really stupid. Yeah, this is right. But since I basically edit the neighbors, what's gonna happen to the other neighbors? I kind of don't understand. So there's this, right? It kind of works. But if I'm editing the neighbors, what's gonna be happening? So if I edit the neighbors, then everything changes. Hey, never mind. You actually just gotta be checking what the neighbors are. Am I right? So I'm gonna be checking what the neighbors are. That's it. If I don't need this one. This is basically top left. Basically it tells if it's grass. So if the nearby is grass, then you change it. So that, oh my god, this is not making any sense. So two main tiles. What are the tiles to be? So basically this one, right? If it so that happens that you, your neighbor, and your neighbor, your neighbor, your neighbor, neighbor is a grass. Okay, that doesn't make sense. I want to see an example.
This means there is only 16 possible configurations of neighbors instead of 250. And each tile changes based on its 4 overlapping neighbors.
Ah, wait. Huh? Wait, what? Doesn't make sense. What if the neighbors are all grass? How should how can I tell if I should use the edge grass? Should I check for the neighbor's neighbor? Well, it depends if I have edge grasses, but currently I don't have edge grasses in the first place. But I think edge grasses are non-existent anyways, right?
In terms of the actual tile set to use with this method, this time we actually want the edges to be drawn
I set up this grass to be here, then set it up to the other side. I mean, this is the point, the grass. And I'm basically just checking. Oh wait, I'm actually checking for the actual neighbors. Just a bad one in this case. Is it though? Yes, because I'm checking for actual neighbors. I should be checking for the overlapping neighbors. The funny thing is that it works, just not in a good way. So what I'm thinking maybe is, yeah, I guess. So it's a loop, right? Here's something wrong. I should not be checking for zeros. I should be checking if it is currently grass. So if it's either 0 or basically grass tiles. Um, so it's not just this one, this one, this one. It's grass tiles. Grass tiles are 1, 2, or 8, 12. So it's a 0 to 11. Can just has it here. Well, the funny thing is, it always contains it. So this just basically doesn't happen at all because it sets it up to 0 first, and then so if tiles grass tiles contains tiles x minus 1, so the default is basically 0. Doesn't make any sense. If x tiles does it get tiles plus contains. Well, if it contains the tile, basically if it's a grass tile, that's gonna ignore it. That's the main idea behind it, but I guess it just doesn't work. Maybe my mind is just so damn not right. Something's wrong, and that is, if this ever happens, Grass tiles contains tests. Wait, so if it contains grass tiles, wait, if it contains a grass tile, then that does mean I'll just ignore it. It's lazy code. Really? It's lazy. So if grass tiles contains tiles x minus 1, minus 1, it is going to be happening. Otherwise, this isn't the case. This just ensures that it doesn't already contain.
I've been generating these tiles in the code as opposed to making them in Blender or something like that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, once I start introducing pathways and instead going to be like procedurally generating each tile in the code. Next up, I've been working on getting all of these terrain tiles connected up properly. So now whenever a terrain tile updates, it checks its 4 neighboring grid squares to see what terrain type they are, and then it uses that information to determine which of those 6 base tiles it should be and what rotation to render the tile in. And after doing that, I've now got this very nice terrain with nice rounded corners. And if I just go into wireframe mode here quickly, you'll be able to see it checks up 4 neighboring grid squares to see what terrain type they are,